You're joined right now on our Fan Hotline presented by Sullivan Super Service, providing trusted plumbing and HVAC service for over 50 years by our friend, our Steelers insider, Ray Fittipaldo, and he is brought to us by your Western PA injury attorneys of LGKG. Build on relationships, credibility, and integrity. LGKG.com. Raymond, good morning, buddy. What's up?
Good morning, guys. I'm doing well.
We got real football this week, Ray. You excited?
Absolutely. Fly down to Atlanta on Saturday afternoon. 3 of the first 4 on the road. So, yeah, we're getting it started right.
I hear they have a bunch of great strip clubs in Atlanta, Ray.
You know what I remember about Atlanta from the last trip? This will show you how old I am. They had a great ice cream bar in the press box.
Ice cream bar?
Much more your speed than the strip clubs. And with Dorin and I, we would never go.
20 years ago, I might have been more interested in the strip club, but yeah.
I hear their legendary place down there has a hell of a chicken wing spread, but
It does.
yeah. Oh,
Been multiple times.
is the chicken? Never mind. Fan Twitter, I'll get a read out of the way. Brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. Ray, are we, even after hearing Mike Tomlin yesterday talk about Troy Fautanu, are we still expecting it to be Broderick Jones on the right, Dan Moore on the left?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just makes sense. You know, that'd be asking an awful lot of a rookie to come in and really just practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and get ready for his first NFL start after missing, 3.5 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, I think they'll ease Troy into it. Troy still has a chance of dressing. I mean, they need backups along that offensive line, but I fully expect Broderick on the right, Dan Moore on the left, and then after this week, once Troy proves he's good, that's where the intrigue starts, right? Does Broderick go to the bench? Does Dan Moore, who's had a really good preseason, go to the bench? That's a nice dilemma to have if you're a coach, because I think all those guys are good players. But yeah, I think the intrigue is going to start next week.
Ray, Cam Hayward's contract, is there any negatives that you see in this? I mean, there are some people out there that say that this is a disaster of a contract. I don't believe it. I think that this is, on both sides, very favorable and probably really in the direction of where each side wanted to be. Do you see any negatives in this contract?
Yeah. I mean, the contract was filed last night, apparently. I looked it up on Over the Cap, and there's no negative whatsoever for the Steelers. I mean, I don't want to say nothing's changed, but nothing's changed really. He was scheduled to make $16 million this year, and he's going to make $16 million this year. The only thing they did was gave him $15 million in a signing bonus, and now he's making $1 million in salary. So there's no money guaranteed beyond 2024. So when you look at it, if Cam Hayward wants to come back to the Steelers again in 2025, they're probably going to have to, sit down again after the season. So obviously win-win. Cam gets some money up front. Steelers really didn't change a thing on their end. So, I think it's all good for both sides.
I think he's now the 20th highest paid defensive tackle in the National Football League. What are your expectations for Cam this year? And put on your prediction hat, Ray, do you think he'll finish out the 3 years?
Yeah, listen, I think when Cam Hayward is healthy, and really you have to go back to 2022, but really from that stretch from, I think it was 2018 to 2022, I think he was a first-team All-Pro like 3 times, second-team All-Pro once. When he is healthy, he's really good, and he proved that he could be really good even in his early 30s. Now, I understand there's injuries and there's wear and tear and there's age, but when that guy is right, he can really collapse the pocket and be a force in the middle for that defense. To predict beyond this year, I think we all have to wait and see how this year goes. If he has 10 sacks and he's really good against the run and he plays all 17 games, then yeah, I think he can come back in 2025 and maybe even 2026. But I think both the Steelers and probably Cam are kind of in wait and see mode to see just how everything goes this year.
Ray, now that this is done, how long until Pat Freiermuth is going to sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, I mean, any day now. It was funny. We were talking to Cam on Monday about these contracts and how things seem to get done closer to the end of the week than the beginning. Cam got his done, but he also brought up when Cam was young, Troy Polamalu signed his contract right before they got on a flight to Baltimore on a Saturday before they played the Ravens on a Sunday. So I remember Cortez Allen signed like 10 o'clock at night on Saturday, a couple hours before the deadline, the Steelers' self-imposed deadline. So I do think it's going to happen. I think Pat obviously is the more important contract here. Probably going to be their number 2 receiver this year. He's young. He's a good player. So I think that'll get done. But, timetable probably later this week, I'd say.
Ray, it sounds like they're going to be saving $9 million against the cap this year based on what happened with Cam Hayward's contract. Do you think they're open up for any possibilities, maybe even at the trade deadline, in adding a player at a position of need?
Yeah, I mean, that's always out there. You look at this receiving core. I know Mike talked about it, in glowing terms yesterday, but I think there's still a lot of question marks about that unit. We're going into the season with questions at slot corner, about depth at outside corner. So I know some of that's going to get solved right around the deadline by the return of Cam Sutton, but there could be issues at other positions that we don't even know about right now. So that's a good point. Steelers have a lot of cap space. They can do some maneuvering at the trade deadline. I know Omar usually likes to trade for picks, but listen, if they're in contention and they need a body in here to help out, I wouldn't put it past them to go out and get a player either.
Ray, if both quarterbacks were getting paid $1.2 million, who would you want to be your quarterback, Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would probably. So here's the thing: I would probably go with Kirk in the regular season, and I would probably want Russ in the playoffs, if that makes any sense. Just because Russ takes care of the ball, he's been on the big stage before, obviously won a Super Bowl, and Kirk Cousins is really good to me, but we all know what it's about in the NFL. You got to win in the playoffs, and that guy's never won in the playoffs. So I'd probably go with Russ. If you want to pin me down, but Kirk Cousins is really good. I wouldn't put it past him to put up 303 TDs on the Steelers on Sunday. That guy's been doing it for a long time.
Ray Fittipaldo with us here on the Fan Morning Show. Ray, if the Steelers win on Sunday, what's it look like? Because I feel like they can really only win one way right now, and that's running the ball, playing defense, which is not dissimilar to the way it's been the last 3 years.
I know that's probably going to disappoint a lot of fans who want to see a different type of offense. And it is going to be different. It's going to be well constructed. It's going to have some thought behind the play calls. But 23-20, 20-17. That's the way this is designed to work. And especially early in the season, with the way these injuries are, you're going to want to run the football. You don't want to be second long, third and long. With this young offensive line having the pass protect. So, I think it'll be conservative, low scoring, and like Mike Tallman says, win it in the fourth quarter. I think that's the way it's probably going to turn out if they get the W.
Ray, who's going to stand out? Who's going to be the star of the game for the Steelers if they do run their offense or even their defense the way that we're thinking they're going to do it?
I know he was kind of ignored throughout the offseason and maybe even disrespected. But I'm going to go Najee Harris. And I know Jalen says he's going to be ready for Sunday, but they're taking it really slow with him. So even if he does play guys, I don't think it'll be his normal workload. So I think we might see old Najee here, 70% of the touches, maybe even playing more on third downs if Jalen is a little hampered by that hamstring injury. So I think it could be a big day for Najee.
Ray, really good stuff, man. Next time we talk, we'll have a game to break down, man. We're finally here.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend. I'll see you.
Enjoy the chicken wings. See if they'll pin you down.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He's getting the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.